All right, back. Last segment here, part 3. Smoking cigars with Howlinblind, Muddy Slim. Got my Omar Ortez pyramid because at the store we were totally out of all the Toros. Between me and a couple other guys, a fellow named David, who buys them by the handfuls like me. And then the customers coming in saying, Howlinblind, recommend me a good cigar. And I recommend them the Omar Ortez. And they come back and they buy about 20 of them. We can't keep them in stock anymore, it seems like. So I had to buy the Bellicoso, which is the exact same blend, just a different shape. And I like Bellicosos, but in these I like the Toro better. But this is a great cigar. Service Employees International Union. Just looked it up. And they talk about what the government needs to do, and if the government cuts these cuts, how the people will suffer. I'm going to tell you right now, there does not need to be any government-sponsored programs where the government spends money on anybody. You folks on welfare, you just go, whoa, what the hell did he just say? That's right. You pay your money into Social Security, and I'm not a big fan of Social Security, but let's say you pay your money into Social Security. That's your money. It's not coming from the government, but they spend it like it's theirs. And you might end up, I'll be 54 this year. I'm going to hopefully retire at 62. I might not have a Social Security to retire to after all these years of paying money into it. It's my money. The government didn't pay into it. You say, well, what about unemployment? Okay. The company you work for is required by the state to buy an insurance policy to cover you if you're fired through their fault. So that's not really government, even though they can extend benefits, which they shouldn't. Because first off, there should be enough jobs in this country where everybody should be able to work if you want to work. Here's what I'd like for the American people to do. It won't happen, but I would love to see it happen. Next year, nobody file an income tax return. Nobody. It's not illegal to not file. Or it's not illegal to not pay. It's illegal to not file. They can't arrest everybody. If you're tired of your tax dollars being spent the way they're being spent, you need to do something about it. And people don't realize, here's the way it really works. Our tax dollars do not pay for any of this other stuff. All of our tax dollars do is to go back and pay the interest on the loan made to the government by the Federal Reserve. On that video that I had you check out last time, Edward Griffith, there's a bunch of good Edward. Just go to Google video and type in Edward Griffith or G. Edward Griffith. Watch the stuff that he did. There's some great interviews. And this man, he lays it down in such plain English that a monkey could understand it. You know, a highly intelligent monkey, one of those that can do backflips and stuff on TV. But seriously, he lays it out so simple that anybody can understand it. I understood it very well. How things work in this country. You know, the Federal Reserve prints the money, gives it to the government, loans it to the government, and the government says, and we'll pay you back with interest. How? Well, let the American people go to work and they can give you income tax. And the IRS is a collection agency for the Federal Reserve Bank. A bank that is owned by offshore bankers, head set in the Bank of England. Did we really win our independence from England during the first American Revolution? Now, you're going to roll your eyes, but listen to this man. Yeah, he may get a little wild and crazy, but Alex Jones, and a lot of folks who listen, they're talking about they're waking up. These people are waking up. They're going out and doing their research, and just like me, and they're waking up. And they talk like there might be another American Revolution in this country. The government's already admitted they got the body bags. They've got the army on the street ready to kill us when we do wake up and tell them, no, we're not going to take this shit anymore. But I do believe that the American people can overpower And even though, like I mentioned before, I'm not a religious nut, I disagree with a lot of things that are in the Bible, but I do believe there's a God. And I believe the reason God hasn't done anything that we're expecting him to do by us sitting back on our asses is because he doesn't want us to sit back on our asses. It's like, how bad do you want freedom? Okay? How badly do you want food? I'm sitting on the couch and I'm starving to death and I want food. But I don't want it bad enough to get up off the couch and go into the kitchen and cook it. I just sit there. God, I'm hungry. Is he going to go in there and cook it for me? If I don't do anything, if I don't get off my ass and do something, I'm going to sit on that couch and starve to death. If you get up off your ass and you go into the kitchen and you cook yourself something to eat, that's the first move. And I think that's what God wants us to do in this country. We're not supposed to tolerate evil. And once we start rising against it, we're going to see that we might get a helping hand from God. Because I don't think he expects us to sit and tolerate evil. And the reason that neither side is doing any good in this war in Iran and Iraq is because God is not a part of that war. He's not a part of it. He's sitting off watching a ball game somewhere. If not for yourself, and if not for your kids, for your grandkids. I've mentioned before, I've got 2 beautiful grandchildren. I've got a granddaughter by the name of Trinity, who will be 2 years on October 16th. And my grandson Logan, he just turned a year, June the 30th. And you'd swear this kid was 5 years old. I mean, he is up and about, and he's already gone through the terrible twos. And I love them both, and I want them to grow up in a country where they have the opportunities to work and make a living and raise a family when the time comes, without tyranny breathing down their necks, and without being forced to take swine flu shots that might contain God knows what all in the vaccine. Roll your eyes, folks, but they've done it to us before. Check it out. Just because the government says it's good for you, it doesn't mean it is. And I'm going to tell you when this revolution does happen. I used to think, I'll sit back and let someone else fight it. When it happens, I'm going to be in a bunch fighting for this country against the evil and tyranny that would be considered domestic enemies. And again, I say S.E.I. You think you can pull that shit on me? Come try me, buddy. Smoking Cigars with Howlinblind, Muddy Slim, Omar Ortez Bellicoso. Have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed my Andy Griffith theme. And like I say, check out the Monkees on here. Michael Nesmith, he's great. He's got some great tunes on here, and I think he's headquartered in Texas, if that is not enough clue for you to get the answer to the trivia question from last video. Talk to you later, folks.